Hello guys, so in this video I'm going to teach you a really fascinating trick called Counterspell by Max Maven, also known as Phil Goldstein. The first time I encountered this trick was from watching a performance video of this trick by ABC Card Magic, and it fried me. It completely blew me away. I was completely fooled by it, and I was like, man, where is this trick from? And he told me it was from the precursor magazines, specifically volume 39. And so from there, I was obsessed and I had to go buy all the precursor magazines because I knew if something that good would be in there, then the whole thing has to be filled with gems as well. And I was not wrong. Tony over at ABC Card Magic is no longer doing videos, which is a crying shame because he put out absolute gems every single day. Every video that he put out was just a banger. And if you haven't seen his stuff, go over there and still show him some love, give him some views and some subs because he definitely deserves it. And you'll be inspired and influenced by what he does on that channel. Trust me. So what I'll do here is run through a performance just by myself, and then after that I'll teach you exactly what's happening and how it is done. Let's get into it. Alright, so what I love about this trick is that there are so many free choices at play that it's going to be impossible for anybody to backtrack this, okay? So what happens here is this. Imagine I have somebody here, and I would tell them, look, I want you to just look at a card somewhere in the middle of the deck. And so a good way to do that is by first removing some of the top cards and maybe putting them just right here. They do that. They then cut off some cards from the middle, maybe this many, doesn't really matter. They're then told to mix these up, and when they're done, to just take a peek at their top card. In this case, they'll remember that card there. Now they just replace it, put these there, put the rest on top to bury their card. Now, if they want to, they can cut the cards. Maybe cut the cards one more time if they want to. It doesn't really matter. Maybe they stop there. They're convinced and they believe that their card is mixed into the deck. Now, I could simply just cut to your card like this, and it would be pretty cool if that was your card, but I don't think it is. So instead, we'll take maybe one, two, let's do 3 cards this time, and we'll use these to maybe help us find where your card is from that shuffled deck. All right, so, but I'll give you the option first. If you want to count or spell, this will make sense in a moment. So all you have to say is count or spell. Let's say in this case, they said spell. All right, so in this case, they would just flip over any one of these cards. The one they choose is the one they use. So let's say they go for this one right here. The Ace of Diamonds. That's not your card, is it? Perfect. We'll use the Ace of Diamonds to find your card like this. You said spell. We spell Ace of Diamonds. That's ACEOFDIAMONDS. I said we would spell to find your card. What was your card? The 5 of Hearts? And there it is. Okay, so I hope that you liked that performance, and I hope that you are ready to learn this, okay? So what you need here is a little bit of a setup in the deck, which I think when you use a setup, the trick has to be worth it, and I think in this case, it is worth it. But in this case, you only need a setup of 3 cards, which is great. Okay, so the cards you'll need for this is the Ace of Diamonds, the 7 of Hearts, and the 3 of Spades. Now, all of these cards spell with exactly 13 letters, and these cards specifically, when added up, add to 11, okay? So 7 plus 3 is 10, plus 1 makes 11. Very important for these 3 cards. Now, you also need a crimped card. In this case, I'm using a Breather Crimped Joker, and so you'll want to have these cards, and you want to set these at positions 11, 12, and 13 from the face. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. It doesn't matter which order they're in, but you just want to have the 10 cards below those 3 cards, and you want to have the Breather Crimp above those, okay? So you're ready to go. So again, it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rando cards, your 3 setup cards, and then your crimped card. Okay, so when you have that prepared, you are ready to rock and roll. Now, all this is basically a key card placement and a progressive spelling setup, okay? So that's really all it is. And most of the time, when you do a key card placement, you have the person cut the cards, look at the card they cut at, ooh, the 5 of hearts again, and place it on there, and then complete the cut. But I've always thought that was sort of weak, and it's like what everybody does when using the key card principle. But I've discovered a sort of a sneaky way to do this a little bit differently, and because I am obsessed with the key card principle, so it's pretty much all I think about. Okay, so what I do here is I tell them, look, you're going to look at a card in the middle of the deck. Okay, so a good way to do that is by first removing some of the top cards, like less than half the deck over to here. And so I have them do that, maybe this many right here. Now I have them lift up a little bit of these like this and say, look, those cards came from the middle. So just to make it completely random, give them a mix. And so they do. And I say, when you're done, look at your top card. And they'll do that. And in this case, they'll get the 7 of diamonds. Okay, so they put that back on there, put these on there, and then put the rest onto there. And that's essentially the same thing as the standard key card, but you have like 2 additional cuts in a mix, plus a mix itself, which I think is great, and it adds to the deception. Now at this point, since you are using the distant key card principle, you can have them cut the deck as many times as you want, as they want to. All right, they can cut the card as many times as they want to. It's not going to disturb that distant key card. It's always going to be the same amount of cards between the crimp and their card. All right, so also a good way to reserve a deck, like in cyclical order or a distant key card, is by a 3-way cut. That looks like that you can have them cut a little bit of cards over to here, cut a big chunk like this over and skip it, and then like the Ose cut, do this. And that looks like a 3 cut, but it's really just a 1 cut. Now, when they're done cutting, what you want to do is cut to your crimp, okay? So you do that by saying, look, I could just cut to your card like this, but maybe that wouldn't be too impressive. I've just cut to my crimp there. All right, so I put that there, but maybe that wouldn't be so impressive. Maybe we could take it a step further. Maybe we'll use maybe 1, maybe 2, and 3. And after that cut, because of that crimp and the distant key, they will be those 3 setup cards on top of the deck, because the crimp will be on the bottom, followed by your 3 setup cards, but you don't show them quite yet. And the cool thing is, at this point, their selection will be 11 cards down in the deck, which happens to be the sum of these 3 cards added up, right? So you want to say, look, we'll use these 3 cards, or maybe 1, it's up to you. And you say, I'll give you the option right here and right now. Do you want to count or spell? So if they say spell, you just have them flip over one of the cards. And since they all spell with exactly 13 letters, it doesn't matter which one they flip over. So let's say in this case they flip over the 3 of spades. So what you do here is you just, without showing them, you just put the other 2 cards back on top of the deck, and then you spell down, you just spell 3 of spades. So THREEOFSPADES, and there will be the card, the 7 of diamonds. Now, on the other hand, obviously if they say count, you have them flip all the cards over and have them add up the totals of these cards, and it'll be 11. From here, you don't do anything, you just keep them there, and you count down to the 11th card, or have them do it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, which will be their card.